Hey guys, welcome back to the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast. I am your host, Jessica, and this is episode 25. It is the 20th of July, and I'm coming to you from Santa Cruz, California, where I am spending the summer. So, to all of my new viewers, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you guys. I know this past week a few podcasters mentioned me on their podcasts, and so it has been super fun to see the subscriber number grow. But I am just over the moon about every single subscriber. So if you are new, welcome. I hope you like it. I hope you stick around. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It means a lot that you guys want to spend some time out of every week to just catch up and see what I've been knitting. So this is a knitting podcast, and I'm kind of gonna do a recap because we do have so many new subscribers. So I live in Arkansas with my husband, and we live in a tiny house on a hobby farm, and we are currently doing IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. We are unable to get pregnant naturally due to some medical issues, and so IVF is pretty much our only chance of getting pregnant. So that is why I'm out in California for the summer, is to do IVF at the clinic here. I'm currently staying with my parents. Well, actually today we're in a new location. You might notice the jungle behind me. I'm house sitting at my little sister's house because her and her husband are in Mexico, and so she has a dog who you might hear bark, and but normally I'm staying with my parents. What else? There's about 2.5 months minimum left in our IVF journey, so I'll be out here for a while still. Next week, my husband Tim is coming out for a visit, so I am super excited about that. It's been a little over 2 months since I've seen him, so this trip is long overdue. It's his birthday, so he'll be out here for his birthday, and we've got some fun things planned, and I'm just super excited to see him. So, yeah, he'll be out here on Tuesday. Yeah, so that's kind of like my backstory. I don't live in California anymore. I grew up here, but we live in Arkansas normally, other than this summer. Yeah, so let's talk knitting, guys. I don't think I have any finished objects this week. I thought I had a single sock finished object, but you'll see what happens later. So I'll just show you what I've been working on. The biggest thing I've been working on is a test knit, and I have permission to show it off, so it's not like super secret or anything. But I mentioned last podcast I was going to be doing this test knit for Kefren of Kefren Designs, and I've been trying to give it most of my attention. It needs to be done and blocked and have pictures taken by the 10th of August. So I still have quite a bit of time, but like I said, Tim will be here next week, and so I kind of just want to have the week free to do whatever he wants to do while he's out here. So this, oh my goodness, I love it. So it has this stripy portion, and I'm sorry if the lighting is bad here. Yeah, her house has lots of windows, but I don't know. So any wall has like the bright lights behind me, so the colors might be a little bit off. But this pink or corally color is Stranded Dye Works. The gray is Cat's Kettle, and then the lace part is Hedgehog. So it starts out here, and it's all bunched up on the needles, but there's all these stripy sections, and then I'm just now starting the lace. So it's like that. There you go. And again, this is Hedgehog. So yeah, it's gonna be a good size, I think. I can't see it all what you guys are seeing. We went to 2 nights ago was the Stitch and Pitch at the San Francisco Giants game. So I went up with my parents, and we met up with Lily of the Ladybug Laboratory podcast, and so Lily and I had seats together. My parents had seats elsewhere in the park, And then 2 of my friends from the yarn shop here in Santa Cruz had gone up, and Lily and I had empty seats next to us. So they ended up just sitting next to us. So it was the 4 of us, which was super fun. And there was quite a few knitters and crocheters there. And on the big screen, they kept flashing like stitching trivia facts, like how many stitches are on the baseball, how many yards of yarn are filling up the baseball. So it was pretty fun. And it was weird. It was so cool meeting Lily in person, but it was weird, like, I'm so used to seeing you on camera and now you exist in real life. I don't know. We were both like, whoa, you're real, to each other. So that was cool. I'd never met her before, so it was fun to meet up with her. And we just clicked right away and chit-chatted the whole entire game. So it was so much fun. And we're going to hang out again, you know, before I go back to Arkansas. So the stitch and pitch, I took this shawl because I was still working on this stripey section, and it's all garter stitch. So it was super easy. I didn't have to think about it. And then, yeah, I started the lace yesterday at midnight last night. So I think I'm going to love the lace. It's going to look really pretty once it's blocked. So, again, it's the Can shawl. I believe that's the name of it. And it's a test knit, so the pattern's not on Ravelry yet. But, yeah, that. So I think it'll be fun. This is how much I have left of the cat's kettle. So it didn't use, it maybe used half a ball. Maybe not even. But I was playing Yarn Chicken with the coral. That's all I have left. So I was down to the last 2 rows, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to have enough to do the last 2 rows. But I figured I might as well try, and if I have to fudge it, I could. But I won Yarn Chicken, so that much to spare. Not much at all. I don't even think it's enough to put a mini in my blanket. So I might just, I don't know what I'll do with it. But I still have a good amount of the gray. And then the cream I'm using is Hedgehog, and oh, it's attached, but it has all these like speckles in it. So I think that'll be fun. Okay, so that is project number 1. Number 2, this was, I also took this to the Stitch and Pitch and worked on it on the drive home, but I totally thought it was done, and I bound off last night at knit night, and then I tried to put it on my foot and it wouldn't go over my heel. So today I unpicked the bind off, thinking all I had to do was just bind off looser. But when I tried it on, after I unpicked the bind off, I had it on the needles, and I tried it on, and it's still a little bit too short. So I only did 5 rows, it's a sock. I only did 5 rows of ribbing for the cuff because it's going to be a shorty sock. So what I'm going to do is I'll just add 5 more, so it'll be 10 rows of ribbing, and then I'll bind off super loosely, and then it should be done. So this is a sock from my sock blank, which I didn't bring over here, but it is my Andre Sue, it's the Vampire Lips sock blank, and it's so fun, and it's crazy how the sock is turning out. Like, it doesn't look like the Vampire Lips at all, but it's super fun. It's like blowing out. It's really like this pretty green with like these speckles of green. And I made it a shorty sock, the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, but you can see like I only did the 5 rows of ribbing right there. So I'm gonna just add 5 more rows, and then I will bind off. But I'm doing it magic loop. These are my Hiya Sharps. Excuse me. Which I prefer Chegus, but these are my second favorite if I can't access my Chegus. So that is that one. And I guess I could show you. From last time I showed it, that's where I was here. So I knit like 1.5 inches and then put in the heel. So I didn't do this all this week, but yeah, that's that one. Then I started a hat, And so my girlfriend Heather from the yarn shop here in Santa Cruz, her and I are designing a hat pattern. So I'm not going to say too much about it, but I will show it to you because so far it's nothing. This is my super secret design. What do you guys think? You like it? It's going to be a hat, obviously. Yeah, so I just did the standard rib and then I'm doing stockinette. But the colors I am using is this, which, sorry, the color, it's really bad. Maybe, like that. It's called Ravelry Red. It's Malabrigo. And I won't show the other color yet because that might give away what we're doing. But it's starting out Ravelry Red. So it's going to be a hat pattern. We're doing the same chart but doing two different brims because mine's in worsted and hers is in DK. So we're going to have two different options for brims and for different weights of yarns, but it will be the same. It's a charted pattern, so it'll be the same chart. That's all I'm going to say about that. So maybe this week, if I finish my shawl, I will work a little bit more like on that. And we like printed out graph paper and we were like, I mean, it's drawn all over. We are not techie people, and I'm sure there's a way easier way to try to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish. But we went through so many pages of blank graph paper and pencil and erasers trying to like manually pencil out our graph. So, yeah, that was like the most time-consuming part of it. And this one is housed in this bag, and it has a little maple leaf progress keeper. I don't think, is this the one that doesn't have a tag? I don't think this one has a tag. So, I love it. Whoever it is that made it, I love it. Thank you. Okay, I think, do I have one more? Oh yeah, I have another pair of socks that I've been working on. So, my mom's socks, last time, I like stuffed the ball in the sock so I wouldn't lose it, but it makes it weird for showing it to you guys. Okay. So, last time I just had to do the heel. So I did the heel. And then I put it on hold because I'm going to do some short rows and I wanted to make sure the short rows match on both socks. So, that's the sock. It's a gradient. I'm pulling from the opposite end of the ball, so it would fade to yellow eventually. But these are for my mom, and she wants shorty socks. So in order to do the heel and not break up the gradient sequence, I'm pulling from this is what's left. So I'm pulling from the other end of the ball because I don't think I'll get to the yellow color. So, but that was sock number 1. So again, I just did the heel since last time, but I cast on for the second sock and did a good bit on that. And so the second sock is like that far. So it still has a couple more inches until I can do the heel in this one. But, like that. Yeah. So it's getting there. This is kind of, I'm not in a hurry to give it to her. It's not for anything in particular. She just liked the ball of yarn. So this is kind of the knitting that just like sits in my car, and you know, if I have a couple minutes to knit on it, I do. And if I don't, I don't. I'm not stressed about getting that one done at all. So, yeah, I don't know what the yarn is off the top of my head. But that was that one. Alright, I only have one more. This is going to be a quick episode today. So, I'll talk about that at the end. Lolo did it, guys. She just came out with her very first stuffy pattern, and it is a hippo, of course, because Lolo has a very popular line of yarn. It's like hippo for the holidays. So it's this super cute sock yarn, and it's got speckles. So there's like hippo for Christmas, and hippo for Cinco, and hippo for Mother's Day, and Father's Day, and hippo for Independence Day. So everybody's knitting all these hippo socks. So naturally, she came up with a stuffy pattern that is a hippo. And it is the cutest hippo you guys have ever seen. I'm looking down because I'm going to pull it up on my phone to show you. So the pattern is called Roxy the Hippo, and she did a pre-sale for it. So I bought it last week, and then it came out on Monday. Look at how cute that hippo is. So stinking cute. So, started with that guy. And this was all I wanted to work on the day of the stitch and pitch. But I didn't want to take it to the game because it's all fiddly parts and stuffing. And so I ended up taking the shawl. But look at how cute this is turning out. This is the muzzle part. And then I have 2 little arms. Sorry, I know it's like hazy. There's 2 little arms. So the yarn this is Lolo. I don't know, the tag's stuck in here, so I'm not going to pull it out. But all the information's on my Ravelry project page. Oh, and my Ravelry name is Sergeant Griff's Girl. So it's SGT GRIFFS Girl, GIRL. I try to put most of my project info on Ravelry in case you have any questions. If I don't, or if you don't see it there, shoot me a message if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer it. But otherwise, I do try to put it mostly on there. So and also you can find me on Instagram as Jessica Ruth Knits. I'm very active on Instagram. I love Instagram. So yeah, if you're looking for other places to find me, and if you have any questions, you can either contact me on Instagram or Ravelry. So, Lolo yarn, the colorway is going to be listed on my Ravelry page, and I don't even know what this is, but this bright purple, which I love, and these were both from Stash. So, I have just now cast on, or not cast on, but I'm just starting the first little leg. So there's 2 legs, 2 arms, the body, the head, the muzzle, and the little ears. So I had to go buy safety eyes because I didn't bring any with me to California, and they were like $1 at the fabric store. So I have those to put on, and I think that's all. So this is probably what I'm going to work on the rest of the day because it's super fun. I'm making it just for me, for our yet to be conceived child. Yeah, so I've been in the knitting for my hope chest mood, I guess you could say. Okay, so I'm going to pause, and I'm going to tell you that this was all of my knitting for the week. So if you are not interested in my chit-chattering, because it might be a little bit of, I don't know, whatever, that's all the knitting I have to show you. So if you're just here for the knitting, thanks for watching. You don't have to stick around. Go watch another podcast if you want. But if you want to hear more about life in general, then stick around. So, I've been, okay, so IVF, let's back up, Jessica. IVF, we have finally passed all of our clearances to start. And by start, I mean to start the birth control. You have a month of birth control, which everybody thinks, you know, why do you need birth control, like, if your husband's in Arkansas, or if you're trying to get pregnant, like, that's counterproductive. The birth control the point is to start manipulating your cycle. So you'll take it for a few days and then be off it for a few days and take it again and be off it. So you're trying to teach your cycle to like start and stop on command. That's, from my understanding, that's what the birth control is. So it's a month of that, and then you wait till you get your period, and then you can start the hardcore drugs, as I say. So up until now, you know, everything's been going to this doctor and going to that doctor and getting everything checked off. You know, Tim had to go see some doctors in Arkansas and then have all those records faxed over. So until now, it hasn't really been real because, you know, I've been dealing with like the endocrinologist or the eye doctor or, you know, like not baby making doctors. But now all of a sudden, like, things are getting real. I was about to say a bad word on the podcast. It's getting real. And so it's kind of like kicked me into must knit for my baby that doesn't exist yet. So what I thought would be super fun with this hippo is to knit the hippo before Tim comes. And then we have our first joint appointment when he's out here. He thinks he's coming out for vacation, but I scheduled like a whole bunch of doctor's appointments. So he'll get to go along to the consultation one, and then he has an appointment for him. But I want to take the hippo, and then the hippo is going to be like our IVF mascot, I think. So if I can remember to actually take the hippo to my appointments. So yeah, so that way, like, I want to take a picture, like, at every appointment with our hippo. And then finally, when we, ultimately, if we get pregnant, we, you know, once the baby's here, we can take a picture of the baby with the hippo. And I just think that'd be super cute. So that's my idea. And so I'm, like, hurrying to get hippo done because I have an appointment on Wednesday of next week. So I'll get him done. He'll be done tomorrow, maybe. But I just think that would be super cute. You know, kind of like how people have a traveling companion. Like, who's the podcaster that has the traveling dead mouse? It's not really a dead mouse. It's a knitted dead mouse. I think it's a mouse. Maybe it's a rat. I don't know. But at, like, Maryland Sheep and Wool, I think it was, everybody was posing pictures with this, like, dead mouse. Knitted dead mouse. Good, don't worry. So I just think that would be fun to have the hippo as our, like, mascot. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, IVF. I met all my clearances. Everybody, all my doctors signed off. There was quite a few hiccups, and I was like panicking and crying. So last week I had to go see the eye doctor. And I don't know if I talked about this before on my podcast or last episode or not, but I had to go see the eye doctor, and I have 20/20 vision, perfect health checkup, eye health, whatever. Everything was perfectly fine from the eye doctor. And so then I called the IVF clinic to say, okay, that was the last thing I had to do. I did it. I passed with flying colors. I have 20/20 vision. Let's get pregnant now. And the infertility nurse got back to me and she's like, oh, you need an EKG. And we're going to wait until you have your appointment in August with the endocrinologist. So yeah, we're going to wait a month. And I was like, no, like, it was awful. So I wrote back and I was like, wait a minute. I said the appointment, because they're just looking in the system and they see I have an appointment with the endocrinologist in August. What they don't know is I'm going to have monthly appointments with the endocrinologist as a checkup. So every month we're going to have an appointment with the endocrinologist. And all it is I go and they look at my, because I have to test my blood sugar numbers. They look at my blood sugar numbers and they're like, oh, you're doing good. Keep it up. Bye. Like last time it was a 5-minute appointment. So I was like, no, I said that appointment is just a follow-up. I said I'm going to have it every month. I'm not postponing IVF like indefinitely because you're constantly going to see an appointment the next month. And I said, and an EKG, nobody ever told me I needed an EKG. Like, I don't understand where is this coming from. So she wrote back and she was like, you know, she said the EKG order came from the OBGYN that I had to go visit, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. That was fine too. But I was like, I don't remember them saying anything about an EKG. They said the eye doctor, and so, like, I know that. I did that. But, like, how did I miss that I needed an EKG? And so I called the OBGYN's office, and I was like, was I loopy? Like, did I not understand that I needed an EKG? And so the lady was like, well, let me put you on hold, and I'll look into it. So she comes back, and she's like, we have no record of you needing an EKG. Like, all you had to do was the eye doctor. You don't, you know. So they're like, it didn't come from us. So I was like, okay. And then I called also the endocrinologist. So, and I asked them, I said, just send a message to the IVF clinic saying it's just a follow-up appointment and you've already cleared me to do IVF. I said, I don't want any holdups. You know, like, they think that since I have an appointment with you next month that I can't do IVF. So the endocrinologist wrote right back and he's like, yeah, you know, no holdups on our end. He's like, I'll message them and say you're good to go. So then I wrote back to the IVF clinic because this is all done like, well, I was calling those doctors, but all my dealings with the IVF nurse is via like the message board. So I messaged her back and I was like, okay, the endocrinologist, you know, is going to message you and say that I'm cleared. It's just a follow-up. You know, there's no holdup there. I said, and I contacted the OBGYN's office and they have no record of me needing an EKG. So, like, please tell me what's up. And this was, like, on a Friday. It was Friday. So I'm like, if I do need to do this EKG, just let me know ASAP so I can get on the phone this afternoon and schedule it. So that way I don't have to wait till Monday to find out if I need it. You know, and then it's Tuesday before I can schedule anything. So if I need it, like, let's get the ball rolling because I want to get stuff done. So she wrote back and she's like, oh, yeah, you don't need it. Okay. And so I'm just like, oh, like, I was stressing all day. And I'd worked from 4 in the morning to like 9. And all I wanted to do was go home and take a nap. But it was like right when I got home that I got I got the message about the EKG. So then I was too stressed and too mad to take a nap, even though I was like dog tired. So I walked downtown. I just went on a long walk and like tried to get it out of my system and just be like, it'll be okay. You know, it'll all work out. Which it did. I don't need an EKG. I didn't need an EKG. Apparently she was looking at like the standard checklist form and not the form that my doctor had filled out. So I guess, because I went to the high-risk OBGYN, it's standard for them to order EKGs if they're dealing with high-risk patients. But he's like, you're not really a high-risk patient. I just have to go because of the IVF. So he's like, nothing, you know, all of this stuff doesn't really apply to you. So I didn't need the EKG. So they weren't looking at the right form. They were just going off like the standard, you know, the high-risk doctor requires an EKG. But mine, I don't need that. So it was good to find out, okay, like that's just where it, you know, that's where she was getting it from. And she wasn't just like pulling it out of thin air. Because I was about to start accusing her of a lot of things. Or I was accusing her to my parents, being like, this is bull. But yeah, so we got cleared. We have an appointment. We can start all the treatments. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. Tim is coming out next week. Okay, and our charity baby knitting drive, because I know that's why a lot of new followers have followed because of that. So we are still hosting this charity baby knitting drive. What it is, in case this is your first episode or in case you didn't listen last time, if you knit, crochet, sew, I don't even care if you buy something, whatever. If you send me something baby to donate to the local maternity home, I'm going to send you a skein of indie dyed yarn in return. Now, this is not one skein per item, so if you only get one skein whether or not you send me one thing or 20 things. Does that make sense? It's like one per person or one per household or whatever. I guess if you're a husband and wife, I'll send you 2 if you guys both contribute. So 1 per person. But within the US only. So I cannot afford, this is like super expensive to mail all this stuff. So I can't afford to mail internationally. So I've had some Canadian people say, you know, I'm in Canada, but I have a US mailing address. And so that's totally fine too. As long as I don't have to pay international shipping, that's fine. Or if you're military and you have like an APO address, that counts too. Because they don't charge me for that. Oh, there's like a bug. So, you guys have, I said we're gonna do this, like it's supposed to ship, you guys are supposed to ship it to me by July 31st. That way it gives me like until mid-August to gather everything up. If that's not enough time for you, just let me know. And then I'll just know how many people still have things out there. And I will wait to donate this all until I have everything. Because we're getting so much stuff. And it's going to be so fun to take it to the maternity home. Now, I have had a couple people ask, what is a maternity home? And if you go visit the Ravelry group for the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast group, there is a thread for, I think it's like to hold and to cherish, I think is what I called it. I don't even know. I'm such a bad podcaster. But there's all of the info there, and there's a link to the specific maternity home that I'm donating these to. So basically what this home does is it helps typically single women, typically women who don't have a support system, or maybe they have an addiction, or they're just not self-sufficient citizens yet, for whatever various reasons. And so the maternity home kind of, if they need schooling, they get them back in school. If they need a job, they help find them a job. They can't live there forever. So it's just kind of like a get on your feet. You just had a baby, like, let's help you out. Let's figure out your life plan. Let's make you a productive citizen. So these these young ladies that have babies don't just, fall through the cracks. So that is what this is for. And again, I chose this specific charity because I'm in California with the purpose of getting pregnant. And so I thought it would be fun to donate to this pregnancy center. So that is how it all comes together. The mailing address is in the podcast group. So if you're curious as to where you should send your stuff, it is there. Typically on my podcasts, I show everything I have got in this past week, since last episode. So I have a ton of stuff to show you guys. However, it's all at my parents' house. So I'm going to make a separate episode for this week's donations because there's so much and I didn't want to cart it all down to my sisters and then cart it all back to my parents. So my sister comes home on Saturday, so I'll probably, maybe on Sunday, I'll make a video of all of the donations since last episode. So if you guys have sent in stuff and I haven't shown it off yet, I will, I promise. It was just too much to try to bring everything to my sister's. So, and I've mailed off most of the packages in return. I think I have 5 packages that I haven't mailed off from the most recent stuff. So, you should be getting your packages soon if you recently donated. And if you don't worry because I still have a couple more to mail off. I think that answers all the questions about the charity knitting drive. Again, it's going until July 31st. That's the ship by date. So you guys still have a week and a half, 2 weeks left. No, a week and a half. But again, if you need more time, just let me know. I don't have a specific deadline as to when I'm going to donate it all, but I just needed to put an end cap on there. So if you guys want to knit stuff, and you think you don't have enough time, just let me know, and that's totally fine. It'll count. I still have plenty of yarn, so I'm not running the risk of running out. I think that's it this week. I'm house sitting for my sister, like I said, and she lives half a block away from the beach. So I'm not a beach person. I don't like to go plop my bed on the beach. But there is a lighthouse that you can walk out to. You don't have to walk on the sand. So I have been walking. Oh, okay. I will talk about weight loss for a second. Anyways, what I was going to say is I've been walking by the beach every single day, multiple times a day, and it's so much fun. And so we're right by the harbor, so all the boats. Basically, I'm walking out to the lighthouse on the wave break for the harbor. So it's it's curved out to the lighthouse, so that way the waves break and they don't come in the harbor. So as I'm walking, I'm racing all the boats that are going out and coming back in. So it's super fun, and I'm gonna miss walking down here. But guys, I've been losing weight and it's so exciting. So I started losing weight in October. Excuse me. And from October till May, I lost 20 pounds, which was still good. But I wasn't very serious about it because we weren't sure about doing IVF. Nothing was, and it was kind of just no, I'll lose some weight, whatever. Well, ever since I came out here, obviously IVF is imminent, and I got serious about losing weight and being healthy. So I cut out sugar. So I pretty much cut out all sugar. I still have some fruit, and some, I don't know, natural sugars. But working at Starbucks, that is so hard. All of the drinks have sugar, all of the pastry items, all the yogurt has sugar, everything has sugar. So basically I eat I drink iced coffee, and we have these incredible egg bites. It's bacon and eggs. So I eat those, no sugar. And I also drastically reduced my carbs. So the whole reason I did this was because my A1C, which is your average blood sugar level for 3 months, came back at 6.6. And 6.5 is the diabetic range. So anything 6.5 and over is technically considered diabetic. Now, I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the whole reason we can't get pregnant, because I don't ovulate. And it is, it makes you resistant to insulin. So my A1C number is always high. It's always in the low diabetic range, but it's because I have PCOS. So until now, they've always just said, it's high, but you have PCOS, so of course it's going to be high, and left it at that. Well, this time they were like, you're going to have complications when you're pregnant. You know, you gotta, like, you're going to be diabetic if you don't change it. They're like, sure, you know, it is PCOS for sure, but it's also going to be diabetes real quick. So that, like, scared the crap out of me. So I cut out sugar, I reduced my carbs, I've been walking 3 times a day pretty much, unless I'm working. And since May, when I got out here, I'm down 26 pounds. Holy cow, guys, that's a lot of weight gone. And my A1C, we retested it after just 1 month. So it's still a 3-month average. So it's the 1 month since I changed, plus the 2 old bad months from before I came, right? So, like, it's not going to be a drastically different number because you still have the 2 months before. If I test 2 months from today, it'll be the 3 clean months, and so it should be a really good number. But it went from 6.6, which again is in the diabetic range, to 6.1, which is not diabetic. So not only I'm no longer in the diabetic class, even though I still have PCOS, and I always have PCOS. I'm in it's like pre-diabetic, but still, whatever, it's going down. So I'm not diabetic. I mean, I'm not in the diabetic range. And I'm down 26 pounds. So that is super exciting in my book. My mom and I went shopping at Macy's, and so I used to wear a size 24 when I started. I started this journey over 300 pounds. And I know this is not a weight loss podcast, but this is a huge part of my IVF journey, so I'm going to share it with you guys. And if you're still watching, I don't know, maybe you want to know what I did. So, I started out at a 24 pant, which is huge. And my mom and I went shopping, and she wanted to buy me some jeans. And so I was like, oh, you know, probably a 22 because I've lost all this weight, you know, and so, like, my jeans they were, like, falling off my hips. So I was like, I'll go down a size to a 22, you know, like, that should fit now. No, the 22 was way too big. The 20 was way too big. Guys, I fit in 18s, and they're big. Like, they need a belt to be holed up. Holy cow. Like, I can't even fathom. That's down 4 sizes since I started in October. So, that alone is motivation to keep going. You know, even if we weren't doing IVF, just seeing that change already is like fuel for me to keep going. So I have been walking, I average like 5 to 6 miles a day, which for me is a ton. Like, I used to average like a mile, you know, and that wasn't like a mile walking all at once. That was like over the course of the whole day, maybe I did a mile. And now I do like a mile minimum on each of my walks, like 3 times a day. So a lot of times I walk like 3 miles in a workout. So yeah, so I've been walking everywhere. I've been eating healthy. But I'm also not like, I'm not counting calories, and I'm not counting anything. I'm just trying to be healthier, because I feel like for the rest of my life, I'm not going to count calories, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to do that now. But I was given the goal of 15 grams of carbs or less per meal. So I try to adhere to that. But like today, I went out to lunch with a girlfriend that I hadn't seen in a few years, and I had a sandwich. And I don't feel bad about that. Granted, normally that sandwich comes with French fries, and so instead I got a salad with vinaigrette. And then tonight for dinner, I won't have very many carbs. You know, I'll probably just have like sausage with, you know, a salad or whatever. So I try to be mindful. If I do feel like indulging, I will, but then I'll try to be good the rest of the day. And not that having a sandwich was bad, but it was well over my carb recommendation. Because carbs, they upset your blood sugar. And so, that's why my doctor tried to limit my carbs. But yeah, so that's my other exciting news for the week. It's just losing weight, and I'm feeling good. I have so much more energy. Yeah, so I think that's everything. Again, this episode is It's like 39 minutes already. So it's not a short one, but it's going to be shorter than normal because I will film a separate episode showing you guys all of our donations that we've got for this week. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching in the first place. If you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it just helps tell YouTube that people like the video. So don't do it if you don't like the video. I'm not forcing you to do it, but if you do, just hit that little thumbs up. I mean, it takes like 5 seconds, but it really helps me out and helps YouTube know that people like my podcast. So, yeah. All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'm not sure if I will podcast next week because Tim will be here. So, I will be spending time with him when we are not at doctor's appointments. And, but maybe I'll try to squeeze in a podcast before he comes. No promises. But I will definitely do a podcast or a little weird episode with all of the donations that we've got. So if you have mailed in things for the babies, thank you so much. I can't wait to take a big picture of everything we've received so far. So it's been so much fun to do this charity drive, and I wish I could just do it like all year long. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with it, and I hope you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you later. All right, take care, guys. Bye.